Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co, and today I'm going to be ranking every Legacy game I've ever played. I've been pushing this video off for a long time now, because every single time that I was going to do this video, I had like one or two more games in my collection that I needed to just get to. Even now, that's still true, which honestly is part of the problem. I got to a point where I realized if I keep waiting for that one more game I have to finish, I'm never going to do this video. And so today I'll be ranking the 18 Legacy games I've played, as well as giving you some notes on the ones I've started but haven't yet finished. I'll be going into all of it, and I'll be ranking them in order from least to most favorite. And some qualifiers is going to be, this is Legacy games only. These are games that you have to theoretically destroy components in order to play them. I say theoretically in case you found a way around them, but they're games that which you're specifically supposed to destroy or alter components in a way that would have a permanent ongoing effect, as opposed to campaign games which don't have that. This is not ranking campaign games. If you go on BGG and search Legacy games, there's a lot of campaign games in there in which you don't need to destroy or alter components. I will not be including those in this video. And so with that said, let's go ahead and dive into the 18 games. But before we do, just some quick notes on the things I will not be including. The first two things I will not be including are Zombie Kids and Zombie Teens. Primarily because those are more kid-focused Legacy games. I've enjoyed them. I've played with my kids. I don't know where I'd rank them. I think they did a great job at being very accessible for my children, and they had a great time finishing both of those. I'd probably put them towards, like, if I'm ranking the 18 games over here, they'd probably be, like, you know, between 17 and 16. I think genuinely that's the way they'd go. I think these two games, Zombie Kids and Zombie Teens, if we're technically doing 20 games, my own personal rating would be 60, would be, okay, again, if I have 18 games, 17 and 18 would bump down to 19 and 20, and those two would go in above those two. The problem is I don't know if that's fair to them, because it's a question of what the target audience is. They did a great job of introducing my children to Legacy games, so I'm kind of putting them as a asterisk on the end. The other four games that I will not be ranking today are games I have started but not finished. Some of them because they are prototypes that they don't exist yet, and others because I never got to that point. And to that end, the four we have are going to be Star Realms: Rise of an Empire. I'm currently 3 games into that, and I don't think it's fair to rank it based on not yet seeing the full exploration of what that game has to offer. There's Flashpoint: Legacy of Flame. Again, I played the first 3 sessions. I have not played the full thing, so I don't think it's fair to fully put it in here. And then Sail Legacy and The Witcher Legacy are 2 upcoming crowdfunding campaigns, or 1 crowdfunding campaign, 1 upcoming campaign, both of which I can't really give a full opinion on. Sail Legacy I did debate including, because I played through 10 games of it, which is a decent chunk, but it's still not the full experience, so, well, at least not like, it's not even like more than halfway there. So both of those are games I'm not going to include. You could check out my first impressions of both of those games on the channel if you want to see where I am with those so far, but I don't think it's fair to put them into a ranking of Legacy games because they're not complete experiences. With that said, let's go ahead and dive into the 18 games. Starting off with number 18, which is Divinus. Now, Divinus does get a bit of a disclaimer on this one as well, because I also didn't finish Divinus. But in the case of Divinus, the reason I didn't finish it is I got to a point where I just felt like I kept waiting for something good enough to happen to justify playing, and then I gave up. And that's going to be true for 1 or 2 more games on this list, meaning if I didn't finish it because I got to a point where I no longer had an interest in finishing it, that does reflect on the game in my opinion, compared to a game that I'm still invested in but haven't been able to make a full judgment on. So Divinus is my least favorite on this list. It's not even bad. Honestly, Divinus is not bad. None of the games over here are bad, but it is my least interested compared to the rest of these games. I kept wanting more out of the experience. In fact, Divinus is probably better than my number 17, but Divinus took more time to play, which made me resent it a bit more. Contrasted with my number 17 is going to be Wildtails, a Pirate Legacy game. This is a game from Button Shy Games, the first and only Legacy game that I believe they've done, and it was forgettable. Like, honestly forgettable. I remember the core concepts of the game, but I couldn't really tell you much more than the fact that I played it and wasn't impressed by the experience. It felt a little too fiddly, the rules felt unclear, the experience didn't feel that rewarding. Wildtails: A Pirate Legacy game was an experiment in putting an 18-card Legacy game, which points for that, but the end result was not a game that I particularly enjoyed, but it was short and easy to finish, so relative to Divinus, I'd still rather play that. I still rank it a bit higher than Divinus, even though the gameplay of Divinus is better. It's one of those weird things where the amount of time a game asks me to give does factor into my enjoyment of it, and Divinus, while being better than Wildtails, took more of my time and made me resent it more. Number 16 is Clank Legacy 1, the first Clank. And I know this is the first one from these that might get some pushback on from general opinions, because Clank Legacy is a well-loved Legacy game. And honestly, I'll say that the rest of this list, outside 17 and 18, the rest of this list is good-ish. I mean, even 17 and 18 are not bad games. They're just like, one was forgettable, and one I just didn't want to play the full arc of it, but it wasn't bad for a few games. Versus Clank Legacy, I got halfway through the first Clank Legacy. I've still never finished it, and it's a game that's well-loved. And for me, Clank Legacy wasn't even bad. It's just that by the time I got halfway through it, I kind of gave up on it. Now, it didn't help that I was playing with others who also felt the same way. Contrasted with Clank Legacy 2, I was playing with people who enjoyed it more, so it was easy enough to finish it. But Clank Legacy 1, because all of us playing the game were kind of a little bit meh on the experience. Not bad, just not particularly good, and not where we wanted to spend our game nights. It just got to a point where we stopped asking for it to be played. No one was driving the initiative of it, and so we got about halfway through. I think we played 5 or 6 games of it. I think it's 12 games, I can't remember. But we got to like the second half of the board, if you know the Clank Legacy. I don't think it's a spoiler. It's pretty obvious there's another half of the board. We got to that point in the game, although I guess technically I may have told you when you get to the other side of the board halfway through the game. Again, I don't think this is a crazy spoiler, but I apologize if that was something I ruined for you. But Clank Legacy 1, it was a good experience. It was a good deck building experience, but I felt the experience was constantly interrupted by stickering the board. My opinion of Clank Legacy 2 was not significantly better, although Clank Legacy 2 is higher up on this list, and we'll get to why that is as we get through it. I don't like Legacy games that interrupt my gameplay to force me to heavily read and read, sticker, do all the things in the middle of the game. I prefer if you have me doing that more at the end of the game. Some mid-game stuff is going to happen, but give me the rules in between game sessions, not constantly altering things in doing the game session itself. Number 15 is Aeon's End Legacy. Now, I've only played the first one. I know there's the Stranglehold, Strange Hollow, whatever it is. There's the other one, but I didn't play the second one. I've only played the first one, although I have played the first one twice, so take that for what you will. Although I think the first time I played all up into the last scenario and then didn't play the last scenario, and then when I went into it again 2-3 years later, I played the entire thing. I think Aeon's Legacy is fine. I enjoy it. I like the deck building game system. I like the Legacy game on top of it. I just don't think I was wowed by the overall Legacy part of things. To me, Clank Legacy, and arguably Clank Legacy, I think the gameplay is better than Aeon's End Legacy, but Aeon's End Legacy just didn't have me doing as much work in middle of the game. Sure, there's some stickering, but not in a way that overly interrupted things as I played. I think the biggest thing for me with Aeon's End Legacy is I just didn't find the Legacy part to be very interesting. I didn't care for the story. The unlocks didn't feel particularly amazing. Most of it was like, hey, you know, Aeon's End, let's like strip away a bunch of stuff and have you slowly unlock that as you play. So there's never really a wow moment. Like even Clank Legacy had more wow moments as you unlocked sections of the board. Aeon's End Legacy just never had wow moments. It was just a good game that happened to have Legacy thrown onto it. It was one of the least changes, in my opinion, from what the regular Aeon's End gives you to the Legacy system. Didn't significantly alter my experience, and that's why it's lower down here. Next up, we at 14, we have My Island. Now, My Island, we'll talk about My City later in this video, but My Island was a disappointment compared to My City. It's still not bad, but I did only get, like, I think 16 missions out of the 24, so I got 2/3 of the way through before giving up on it. And even then, I think I could have finished it. I don't think it's a bad game. I don't think it's a terrible experience. I just got to a point where I was like, I'd rather play My City again than continue to play through My Island. The narrative changes or the mechanical changes got to a point where it felt more fiddly than smooth. And granted, My City has this one part where I have a slightly similar critique, but overall, My City was a much better experience, and My Island just never was rewarding enough to justify once the gameplay felt like it really was just trying to cram in mechanics. So, I mean, I played 16 games of it. Can't be that bad, but also I didn't finish it, so can't be that good. Coming in at number 13, we have Jurassic World Legacy of Isla Nublar. The Jurassic World is one that has gotten a lot of hate, and I do think it depends on the player count. To me, this is a game that you want to play at 2 players. For sure not at 4, probably not at 3. 1 I could hear, but I think 2 players is where the experience is going to be best and most tolerable. I mean, I think 3 and 4 is a no-no. It's 1 versus 2 as far as I'm concerned. I've played it at both player counts. I've played, well, I should rephrase that. I've only played the game once, but I've played it, meaning the Legacy thing once, but I've played it at both player counts throughout that session. I started with 2, and then the second half played solo. But my Jurassic World Legacy of Isla Nublar isn't bad. It's pretty decent. You're constantly overwhelmed. You're trying to build up the island. I thought the action system's not bad. The problem is you get, like, if I recall correctly, you get like 45 actions across the whole game, which means if you divide them amongst 4 players, you got like 10 actions the whole game, and you feel like most of those actions are spent moving around the board. If you do that with 2 players or 1 player, you feel like you're doing a lot more as you play, and it's a lot more rewarding of an experience. I don't think it's amazing, but it still was pretty fun. I enjoyed Jurassic World Legacy of Isla and Nublar. I think that parts of it felt a little bit uninteresting in terms of what's being unlocked, but when you get to the halfway point, there's a nice chunk of stuff that's unlocked. Overall, it was a pretty good game that I enjoyed. I enjoyed it. It was not amazing, but I definitely enjoyed it. Coming in at number 12, we have Clank Legacy 2. Again, this is, even though Clank Legacy 2 is like higher up, I think the fact that it's only just above Jurassic World, which is not particularly loved, is not going to win me points with people who like Clank Legacy 2. But I like Clank Legacy 2 more than I like Clank Legacy 1, but I have the same complaints. I finished the experience. I enjoyed it. I thought there were some interesting things. I will note that I'm not really doing spoilers here, so I'm kind of being not specifics as far as these games go. But Clank Legacy 2 was slightly better as far as the gameplay goes, and then also better because I played it with other players, and then also better because I finished it, so I guess I have that sense of completion on it. But the overall problems of Clank Legacy 1 were still present. It definitely felt like it was built on the bones of Clank Legacy 1 in terms of how it's structured. I don't know if it was mechanically super better. Small quality of life changes, but the main thing for me was probably finishing it and playing with people who were more invested in the experience. Definitely elevated the gameplay for me. Again, despite the fact that it's higher than Clank Legacy 1, it's a few notches higher on the list. It's not significantly higher. I still don't like stickering stuff mid-game. I still don't like constant interruptions to the actual gameplay experience to deal with the legacy elements, and that was definitely true with Clank Legacy 2 as well as with Clank Legacy 1. Coming in at number 11, we have Machi Koro Legacy. Again, the fact that it's higher than Clank Legacy might bother some people, but Machi Koro Legacy was fun. Did it wow me? No, it didn't. In fact, I think number 10 and up is when we start to get to the legacy games that I had a better experience with. With Machi Koro Legacy, I could easily see myself playing this again. In fact, my daughter has asked for it again, so I may well try to hunt down a copy and play it again. We'll see. But Machi Koro Legacy, it's simple. It's straightforward. I think similar to Aeon's Legacy, it didn't wow me with the nature of what was unlocked. Nothing at any point felt like, oh my gosh, the gameplay's drastically changed. But unlike Aeon's Legacy, it didn't feel like they stripped down Machi Koro only to build it back up to where it was. So even though the things weren't that interesting, at least they were more surprises to me. So I like Machi Koro. I think Machi Koro is a good game. I don't think it's an amazing game. I think it's a good game. But like, Machi Koro Legacy was just a charming, fun game. Played out across 10 sessions. Did not wow me, but I would do it again. So gets points for that. Coming in at number 10. And again, this is where we start going to games that I think I more actively recommend. We move to like much higher over here. Number 10 is Charterstone. I've played through Charterstone twice, and I can see myself doing it a third time. I don't think I'm in a rush to do it a third time, but I can see myself doing it a second time, which a third time. After the first time, I said to myself I could see it doing a second time, came back a few years later, and enjoyed it again. I think Charterstone is fun. It's not incredible. It's not an incredible game, but it's a good worker placement game where you're building up your own little area. You're visiting the board in different areas. The biggest downside to me is it kind of feels like it's really meant for higher player counts, and then at lower player counts you're kind of just trying to add stuff to compensate for the game. But the problem is at higher player counts you'd slow down the experience. I don't love that. There's a Steam game that I've been debating playing the Steam version of it because wondering if that would fix that aspect. But overall, there's a sense of progression, there's a sense of unlocks. I enjoy the game. I think the biggest complaint is that the biggest complaint is the player count, and then other than that is I think there's a desire to unlock things, which is a good thing I think, but there's a desire to unlock things in the game that might go counter to actually winning the game. You just want to explore and get more cards, more buildings, more things in play. It's charming, it's easy, the story's kind of charming, although a little bit weird at points. It's just like, it's a little weird. The story's a little weird, but it's not bad at the same time. The art is very cutesy, the things you unlock are kind of fun. Not the best legacy game ever, but an enjoyable experience that I've played twice and I can see myself going back for a third time. Coming in number 9, we have Pandemic Legacy Season 0. By far my least favorite of the Pandemic Legacy series of games, but it still was fun. It still had that unlocking aspect. It's still built on, for me, a legacy system that was near and dear to my heart. It's one of the first legacy games that I truly loved, and so I kind of want to go back to it. I want to go back to Legacy Season 0, to Pandemic Legacy Season 0, and play it again, now that I kind of have a better expectation of what the experience was and what it delivered. But The biggest critique I have of Pandemic Legacy Season 0 is that 1 and 2 were significantly better, and for me, it felt like ending the series on a low point. I want to go back and try it again, now that my expectations are better adjusted to it. I just think 1 and 2 were the same game, but significantly better. Coming in at number 8, we have Kingdom Legacy. Kingdom's Legacy, or King, I can't remember if there's an S in there. Kingdom Legacy, a small little card game. Got horrible AI artwork. It's from Firaxis Games, who did Terraforming Mars. They're actually doing Terraforming Mars Legacy coming up soon, so that will be another one to add to future lists. But Kingdom Legacy is a solo game of just trying to go through your cards. Think games like Palm Island. You're managing cards in your hand, and you're just trying to constantly improve your cards as you go through a series of sessions to do so. It's surprisingly fun. I haven't yet incorporated the expansion packs. In fact, I haven't even done a full review on the channel. I need to do that at some point. But I like it. I like it. It's stupid, simple fun. It's a great airplane game. It's a great travel game. It's a great, hey, I got 10 minutes before bed and I just want to start this. I want to play a few more turns of it. It is something charming about Kingdom Legacy. It's not... the experience is about the experience. It's not about winning or losing. It's not about how high you score. I mean, it is technically about how you score, but not for me. It's not. It's just a fun, simple, charming, accessible legacy game. Kind of in the vein of Machi Legacy, just with worse artwork, but surprisingly addicting. It's the kind of thing you can play it out over the course of a night here and there, or you could find yourself totally addicted and just dive straight into it and finish the entire thing in a few hours. Coming in at number 7, we have Sagrada Artisans. I really like Sagrada Artisans. I think it's one that I'll probably return to at some point. It's a series of, games. You're basically playing Sagrada, but you're playing Sagrada with unlocking, with coloring, with new mechanics, new elements. It didn't drastically change Sagrada. So again, some of the complaints there, but whether a game experience was significantly altered, that will be in play. But it definitely gave you some nice twists to a game that is already simple and accessible. I think Sagrada Artisans, if you like Sagrada, I think you should check it out. If you like legacy games, I think you should check it out. If you like coloring, I think you should check it out. And then there's reset packs and all these other maps. There's all these ways to explore the game system. Overall, I just enjoyed Sagrada Artisans. It's a pleasant legacy game that was a good game to play through. Did not win any whatevers, but it was a good legacy system. Coming in number 6, we have Rise of Queensdale. I've completely finished Rise of Queensdale a long time ago, and I actually got it back to play it again. I have not yet played it again, but I got it back in order to play it again. Rise of Queensdale is like Charterstone, just better, in my opinion. This is going back a while, so I'm going by memory here. But to me, it was just a better version of Charterstone. It felt like the same kind of concept, but in a way that I thought was just generally more rewarding. Now, I don't have a lot of qualitative things to say about this or specific things to say, because I honestly don't remember it very well. I remember enjoying it. I remember I played Charterstone the first time, not the second time, but I played Charterstone and Rise of Queensdale around the same time, and Rise of Queensdale just felt like a better Charterstone. So when I went back to play Charterstone again, I was like, I need to hunt down Rise of Queensdale again to play this again. It was fun. There's a little plunger. You're picking up pieces of the map. You're exploring your board. Again, it has a very Charterstone feel to it. The mechanics of it, I can't remember. I'm rating this as my number 6 based off of feelings of where I remember it being in my head. And it's the kind of thing that I may well play it again, and then it might be much higher or much lower, but I think this is probably where it goes. Coming in at number 5, we have My City Roll and Build. My City Roll and Build, I debated putting this one here because it's technically a legacy game because you're destroying components. It's also like a pad of paper, like a roll and write, so is it really a legacy game in that sense? I don't know. I did debate putting it here, but at the end of the day, I decided, technically you're altering components. It is built in the My City system. It's built in a series and a sequence of games. I'll throw it in here, and you can choose to ignore it if you don't feel it counts. But My City Roll and Build is delightful. Not as good as My City, but it is pretty close. It's a little different than My City. It's got some elements that I like more, some elements that I like less, but it definitely has that simple, accessible charm of rolling a bunch of dice, coloring in a bunch of boxes, and then trying to do so across the series of 12 missions. My City is 24, but My City Roll and Build is 12, and it's just charming, simple fun. I like it. I recommend it. I think My City is great. I think My Islands, I'd rather play My City. I think My City Roll and Build, it manages to be distinct and yet familiar. Coming in at number 4, we have Pandemic Legacy Season 2. I think this was excellent. And I will always wonder which game is better depending on your experience of which one you've played first. Because I know people who played Pandemic Legacy Season 2 first and I like it better. And for myself, I played Season 1, I like that better. I think Season 1 is overall rated better, so there is that. But I loved Pandemic Legacy Season 2. I thought it was great. The biggest complaint I have against it is I played Season 1 first, and Season 2 felt not as good as Season 1. But unlike Season 0, which felt like a decent drop-off, Season 2 felt very, very close. I played the whole thing twice. I could absolutely see myself going back for a third time. I had that much fun with the experience. So it has to be with new players because you want to kind of want to share that experience with them. Doing the same group of people, we already did it. But with new players, getting the chance to see it for the first time again through their eyes as they experience the things that happen. It's not the first Legacy game that ever existed. I think that was Risk Legacy, if I recall correctly. But Pandemic Legacy Season 1 is the thing that like really reinvented the desire for them. And Season 2 was a very close to that experience. At number 3, we have My City. Now, I debated whether My City should be higher on this list because here's the tricky part. I've played My City more times than any other game, period. Not just like these Legacy games, but any other game. That is if you count each individual session, of course. A full campaign of My City is 24 sessions. I think I've done it like 10 times by now. I just finished 2 more full campaigns with people going through it. It's simple. It's fun. I've done it so many times. I think I'm finally getting sick of it. But like that's the problem here. The problem here is it arguably should be my number 1, but I've played through the full campaign. That's 240 games of My City. That is a little insane. I'm finally starting to get sick of it, which is why it's number 3. But the fact that I've played it so much and still enjoy it is why it's as high as it is. And again, arguably should be number 1 because I'm comparing it to other things. I'm comparing it to a game that I've played once and a game that I've played twice. Which, again, to be fair, that's the arcs. So I've played My City 10 arcs, and then I've played the others 1 and 2. So we'll see. But it's incredible. It's simple. It's very lightweight. It's not an amazing game in any sense. It's just accessible. It's accessible and fun, and it unlocks things, and it gives you a sense of progression, and it starts off very light, and it ends on a light note too. It's light the whole way through, but there's real progression through the experience. It's just a good game. I highly recommend My City. You can play it on Board Game Arena. You can buy a copy. You can buy them pretty cheaply on Amazon, usually like 27 to like $30 usually, and you can get 24 games out of that. If you're playing it 2 players, you can do the whole thing twice. You can play it once and then play it again with the same copy because the copy plays up to 4. So you either play it with 4 or you do 2 and then 2 again. My City, it's very good. I highly recommend it. Coming in at number 2, we have Ticket to Ride Legacy. Ticket to Ride Legacy was the first game since Pandemic Legacy Season 1 that gave me the highs of what a Legacy game can, in a system that was familiar and yet really opened up and explored this whole board as you went through it and just continued to unlock things. I think Ticket to Ride Legends of the West, whatever it's called, is amazing. I played the whole thing once. I have another copy ready to go because I liked it so much. I have not started the other game, but I have another copy ready to go, and I'm looking forward to diving into it again. I'm looking forward. I've just been waiting for like the right time where I feel I'm going to really get a good series of games out. It is such a fun game system. I think Ticket to Ride Legacy Legends of the West, I think it is. If you like Ticket to Ride, you should 100% check it out. If you like Legacy games, you should 100% check it out. It's just a good, rewarding, engaging Ticket to Ride system that I recommend. One of my favorite Legacy experiences ever since Pandemic Legacy Season 1. And if you're paying attention, my number 1 is the one that I have not mentioned yet, Pandemic Legacy Season 1. This is my favorite Legacy game experience, and I'm almost certainly colored by the fact that it was the first one that I played. This is the first Legacy game I've ever played. I played it twice. I would happily go back for a third time. I still feel it's the best Pandemic Legacy game generally, and probably it's my favorite Legacy game, I think, overall. Again, unfairly contrasted with My City, which I've played 10 times. And part of the difference is, My City, I'm not here for the story. Pandemic Legacy, to a certain extent, the story and the twists and the things that happen matter. It's not a game that I could play 10 times. I'd have to play that with the new players every single time to see the game through their eyes, to see it with their lens of experiencing the adjustments to what's happening. But it's one of the perfect Legacy games for me. It gives you a challenge. You're working together. There's twists and turns. The arc of difficulty is very well done. It is familiar to core Pandemic while being very different. It's a game that ruined Pandemic for me because it was always hard to go back to regular Pandemic, even with all the expansions, after I had played Pandemic Legacy. It's so good. It's so good, and I 100% will return. Like, Season 2, maybe I'll go back to, maybe not, but Season 1, I 100% will go back to at some point in my life. I just need to figure out the people, the time, the place. It's a great experience. If you like Legacy games, I highly, highly recommend it. And those are my 18 plus all those other notes, Legacy games ranked. There's a bunch more I still haven't gotten to. There's a bunch more I don't think I ever will. Like, there's, what's the other one? There's a sale one. I can't remember. There's a bunch of Legacy games I have never played, there's a bunch of Legacy games I will never play, and there's a bunch of Legacy games I hope to actively play and add to a future ranking of all Legacy games. Although I think with me covering 18 at this point, it'll probably take like 4 or 5 years before I feel motivated to go back for a second re-ranking of everything altogether. In any case, then until next time, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and I hope you have a good one.